Hello and welcome to EDCI 5700, Introduction to Research in Curriculum and Instruction, and this is for the fall 2026 semester. My name is John Cannon, and I am the instructor for the course. This is the start of the 19th year for me at the University of Idaho, and I've taught this course since the mid 2010s, around 2015 when I started teaching it, and I learn each year that I teach it, and I truly enjoy watching as students take the course, learn about research, learn how to be informed consumers of research, and I also enjoy watching how students who take my course take my feedback and improve their scholarly writing so that they can move on in their graduate studies, either in their master's program or their doctoral program. So, welcome to EDCI 5700. Let me share my screen and we'll get going here. And what is coming up is the homepage for the course. This is what will open up when you click on the Canvas link. And I'm recording. I'm recording this message, this video on the first day of the fall semester, fall 2026. When you get this, the entire course will be open in Canvas, but I haven't recorded all the introductions for each of the modules for this semester. So if you get a jump, you may come across a module where I have not updated recording. I'm going to do that as fast as I can and have everything open. This is an at your own pace online course. So you can start now and get it done here pretty quickly, or you can take your time as we go through the semester. One thing I do recommend, don't wait until end of October, November to get going because it's very difficult to then get everything completed. So anyway, we'll go ahead. We'll get into this. Here's the home page. Here's the introductory video, and this will be updated by the time this video will be updated by the time you get this. Here are the course objectives, and I do need to get this page updated. The course begins on August 24th, but the course objectives, upon successful completion of this course, you, the students, will be able to, one, access, search, and synthesize existing literature in your field, be critical consumers of research literature, have an understanding of the nature of scholarly research and its relevance to your professional lives, and collect and synthesize literature related to a research study of your interests. Okay. Here's the syllabus. And let's go ahead. Let's get this. There it goes. Let's go ahead and get go through the syllabus. And again, this is Introduction to Research in Curriculum and Instruction for the fall 2026 semester. So at your convenience, you can read about the college vision, the college mission, our college goals, our conceptual framework of care, cultural proficiency, assessment, teaching and learning, reflective scholarship and practice, and engagement in community building and partnerships. There's the course description, and we've gone over the course objectives and then the goals of the Department of Curriculum and Instruction. Here's the required readings. The first one is Educational Research. It's by Creswell and Guterman. It's the latest edition of that textbook. And then the 7th edition of the APA Publication Manual. And if this is not the only class you'll be taking where APA scholarly writing is required. I recommend that you get the publication manual. I have a hard copy. It comes in very handy, and I go back to it quite a bit. I go back to it when I'm reading student papers, just to make sure that I give the proper feedback on APA formatting. So these textbooks, you can get a hard copy through the bookstore, through Amazon, or another online marketing link. These are also available through the University of Idaho as ebooks, and we'll go through that. I'll show you that here shortly on how to get to those ebooks. And it's in the My Textbooks Vital Source link on Canvas. And here are the links if you wish to purchase a hard copy. Here's a link to Pearson, who publishes the Creswell and Guterman. Amazon has both of the textbooks. I have scheduled virtual office hours. These are not class meetings, but anyone is welcome to Zoom in, ask questions. We can have a discussion about topics from the course. We can also discuss assignments, the papers that are due. The first one will be Wednesday, September 2nd, and it'll be from 5 to 7 Boise time, my time. I'm located in the Boise Center, and that's 4 to 6 Pacific time if you're in Moscow, Coeur d'Alene, or the Pacific time zone. Second one will be on Wednesday the 30th. Then the final three will be on Mondays, October 26th, November 16th, and December 7th. Again, these are optional meetings. They're not mandatory. Feel free to let me know. Please let me know if you plan to attend. But just know if you don't let me know ahead of time and you do Zoom in, we'll have a conversation, and I'll be happy to visit with you about the course, about assignments, about possible research interest if you're moving forward with a master's thesis or a doctoral dissertation. We'll communicate through either the Vandal Mail, the U of I email system, or there's an email system in Canvas. We can use both of those, but I will communicate with your Vandal email address. Here's the link to the website, Canvas website, and here's also a link to my Zoom room. Okay. Here are the assignments, and we're going to go through each of these. We'll start with module reflective commentaries, and these commentaries. This is a chance for you to reflect upon the content from the module, what stood out, maybe 2 points, 1 or 2 points of particular interest, and that would be the first part. And the second part is how you use this in your professional practice. And you'll receive 10 points for posting your reflective commentary, and then 5 points for responding to two other of the students' postings. There will be a 12th commentary, and this will be in the wrap-up end of semester. And this will also be worth 10 and 5 points for responding to other students. And I will post a reflection, and my reflection is also a fair game for you to respond to. There will be a 10-point quiz for each learning module, and you're able to take it, retake it. You can retake it as many times as you wish. Um, the quizzes come from the book, the textbook, and other provided materials, and this will all be in Canvas, and this will be due at the completion of each module. And this is a self-paced course. And here are the suggested deadlines. And the first module, the suggested deadline is 2 weeks in, September the 6th. This should give you a chance to get the textbook or be able to get access online through the U of I for the textbooks. And we'll go September 6th, and then the last module, the end of semester module, it will be December 13th when that will be due. And then for three of our papers, for the quantitative research summary, qualitative research summary, I will assign partners for the paper, and you will serve as a peer reviewer for your partner's paper. And the purpose of this assignment is to give you all the opportunity to see how others are approaching the writing activity. And also to have someone look at your writing, provide some insight, provide constructive criticism, and also to be a good proofreader for you. I know from my experience as a writer, writing scholarly work, that I'm my worst proofreader. And it's good to have a second pair of eyes look over your papers. And again, the quantitative research summary, the qualitative research summary, and the literature review, those are the papers that will be reviewed. Jotting down a note to make a change. As you can see, I misspelled summary in here. And again, it just demonstrates we're our own worst proofreaders. That will be changed. So the first two writing papers, the first one is the quantitative research summary, and then the qualitative. And this is where you will take a piece of the literature for both quantitative for the first one and qualitative second one, and do a review of it. Review that paper, and then provide a summary. This the requirements are a 3 to 4 page paper, and that includes the reference list. And with both these first two papers, identify the problem and purpose of the study, provide the author's hypothesis or research questions. Might not necessarily have a hypothesis, but they should have research questions or research objectives. Summarize the literature grounding the study, give a brief summary of the research design, the data collection methods, and the subject or participants. Then the next thing is to identify the key findings, then provide a short critique, the limitations, and questions you have about the study. And then there will be the citation and other references used in the review will be at the end of the paper. And you're to follow APA 7th edition, use Times New Roman 12 point font, 1 inch margins all the way around. I expect clarity and correct spelling and grammar. This is where the peer review, being a good proofreader, also being a good proofreader, comes in handy. You'll upload the assignment in Canvas, and it has to be in a Word file. And I will not accept work that's in a PDF or if it's shared through an online share program. If you don't have Word, I recommend that you find a way to get your paper put into Word so that I can provide feedback. And the last thing here is your name. If your name's not on the paper, I'm not going to accept it. Found over the last couple of semesters that I'm getting way too many papers where there's not a name on it. And that's something that we all learned back in grade school, that we need to put our names on the paper. And I shouldn't have to um, say this to graduate students, but I am seeing that more and more are being turned in like that. So I'm letting you know, put your name on the paper. The assignment is 3 to 4 pages. This includes a reference list A cover page is not required, but if you use one, it will not be counted toward a 3 to 4 page requirement. And then here are the deadlines. Um, your first draft needs to be submitted to your partner for peer review by September 13th. The peer review must be completed and submitted back to authors by September 20th, and the final draft submitted to me by September 27th. For the qualitative paper, October 11th for your draft to be sent to your partner, October 18th for the peer review to be completed and sent back to the authors, and then the final draft is due on October 25th. The next one is the annotated bibliography, and this is not peer reviewed. And this is where students find at least 10 sources and they provide an annotation, which is a brief description and evaluation of a piece of literature. That's called the annotation. And the purpose of this is for you to put together sources, citations for the final paper, the literature review. And again, at least 10 will be required for A quality work. And here are the guidelines, APA 7th edition. Again, Times New Roman, 12-point font, 1 inch, margins all around. This will be uploaded in Canvas. And with this one, there's a cover page, then the annotated bibliography. And the annotated bibliography is the citation for the source, and then that annotation or evaluative paragraph. And that should not be more than 200 words. Then at the end, a reference list. So with this, you are going to be um, putting together a reference citation for both the annotation and the and the reference list at the end. So it's done twice. And the one thing about this is when you take your annotated bibliography and write your literature review, you will have your reference list already there. And I will provide feedback for you so that going into literature review, you will have feedback on formatting, APA formatting for citations and the reference list. And at least 10 citations from 4 different types of publications are required for A quality work. And the types of publications, research journal, a research conference paper, or research conference proceedings, a book chapter is considered separate from a book, dissertation, a thesis, a government report, white paper. Those are the things to consider as you put together your sources. And I do have examples in Canvas. Then the final project, and this is due December 14th. And for this, what you're going to do is you're going to take you're going to take your annotated bibliography, and what you will do is then you will summarize and synthesize that research into the final paper, the literature review. And there is no page limit on this. You'll need a cover page, an abstract of not more than 200 words. Then there will be the literature review, where you do the summary and synthesis of the literature, and then a reference page at the end. And this is to be submitted as a Word file, and it will not be accepted as a PDF or on an online share program. And your name will be on it because you're going to use the cover page. And this will be a peer review requirement. And here are the dates for that peer review. Then the last thing is participation, and active participation is required, submitting assignments, um, posting on the discussion board, responding to other students or my reflection. And at the end of the period or at the end of the semester, this is worth 100 points, and I will take all that into account. Here's the late work policy and the deadline, and then other information from the University of Idaho on process and procedures. So if you have any questions, let me know. And let's go. You've seen the syllabus, course textbooks. Here are the textbooks. If you click up here, My Textbooks and Vital Sources, textbooks for the course should come up. And I know, let's see here. Let me go out of here. Let me go out of the student view and I'll go into my view. And so again, if you click on this, it should come up with the textbooks for this course. And I hope this is done soon. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. When you log in and from your website, from your page, you'll be able to click on that and it will come here to 5700. And it's the educational research textbook and the publication manual. And then you'll be able to come over here and uh, do what you need to do. You can do ebook or the print, and you'll get access to the textbook. So that is how that works. I'm going to go back to viewing this as a student. Also, you have the online merchants, Amazon, Pearson, and also Amazon for the APA manual. So, and then there's a getting started. And in here, another link to syllabus textbooks. There will be a link to module 1. And each module activities will include reading assignment, supplemental audio visuals such as a YouTube video. I'm very big on getting YouTube videos that have been created by uh, content creators, and I feel this is very helpful for the concepts of an introduction to research course. There's the learning reflection and the module quiz. Let's go to the first module, and I have not updated this module yet. This actually, let's see here. I've updated most of it. I haven't updated the recording. We'll get that recorded for you here as soon as possible. And with module 1, you'll start with an introduction of yourself. I've already put mine in, and please share pictures. And we'll get this fixed so my pictures are showing. But I'll ask you what your current teaching position, educational career, your career goals, why you are taking the course, what makes you tick. Tell us about your family, your previous education and career experience, and your interests or hobbies or anything you feel would be of interest. And then upload a photo. And then there will be an introductory video, which I will show. And then for the first one, read chapters one from the Creswell and Guterman, and I'll have with each module, I'll have guiding questions to help you to help guide your reading as you go through the assignment. Then post your module reflection, and I will also have one up here. And then complete the quiz. Click on here, and you'll take the quiz. And I've got to update this. There you go. There will be multiple choice. Could be true, false. There could be essay type questions. And then the suggested completion date for module one is September 6th. So also here on the homepage, I do have links for the major assignments, a link to submit your peer review for your partner, and I will get those partners out here. September 13th is the deadline to get your draft to your partner. I'll get that out here either later this week or next week. And then here's a link for the final draft and for all the assignments. And then I have the link for the Zoom, for my Zoom office, for the optional office hours, virtual office hours. And that concludes the introduction and instruction for EDCI 5700. As I said, I'll be catching up. I'll get the updated recordings up. Going through this, there's some dates that need to be adjusted and fixed in the syllabus, and we'll get that taken care of. And if you have any questions as we get going, let me know. And when you get this, everything will be open. Not everything will be updated, but everything will be open for you to get started. Thank you for taking the course. I'm looking forward to it, and have a good day. Take care.